I say the same thing like constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of politics.
Since the last time we did speak, though, you were an extremely busy man. You have been extremely busy. There were a couple of things that came through my newsfeed on Facebook that I was like, this dude, he be turning up. But a lot of what you say, man, I agree with a lot of it, man. Just like your outlook on life. I say you have a realistic perspective. The way that you think is curious. I'm curious about. Is that something that you developed over time, or is that like family influences, your environment?
I really developed, I guess, my personality from many sources. One being, growing up in a single parent home, mother, and then being bullied in school. So, you had to get some tough skin eventually. So I got to a point where I was no longer allowing people to like push me around. And so that kind of, went into my adult years. And then I moved to Oklahoma in 2007. And that's when I really understood about how I need to find my identity and not let it be controlled by somebody else's opinion of me. And so when that started to take place, I became rogue. So I was no longer able to be controlled of it. That's kind of what happened when I was with the Republican Party in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they couldn't control me. In fact, there was the president of our young adult organization made me the community liaison, and the vice chairman, I won't pause it like that, but he's a current elected official. He called me and said, "Hey, Will, I'm just letting you know the truth that this is the reason why he gave you that position, because he didn't want you to have a voice, because my voice was getting too strong." Yeah. So I always say this: if you can't be introduced to the table, people don't bring you to the table, you create your own table. And that's how I live my life. So I don't wait for people to give me an opportunity. I've tried that. I've waited for people to call me for TV. I waited for people to call me to get on the radio. It just doesn't happen for me that way. I have to go out there and I bust the doors open myself. So when people ask, "Willie, how'd you do it? Who do you know?" And they're like, "I know God." That's it. That's my answer, because he's the one that's actually got me to the place I need to be without having to go through people's, ideas of who I should be when they want me to be it. And that's the reason why with politics right now, why so many people are, some people are just angry at the fact that I'm even running for office, because they're like, how can he, here I am, why is he? And it's not because some great party is backing me or some big donor is backing me. It's because this is my opportunity, this is my time. So, my strength in what I say, even though it doesn't go over well with a lot of people, the fact of the matter is, if we don't start looking at things from not just a perception of black versus white, Democrats versus Republican, and we just look at it and say, let's be real. This is a conversation we should have been having a long time ago. So we can't be hollering oppression and suppression and and saying, oh, here we are repeating life and things, but you don't get up and do anything. So if it has to be one voice, you have MLK, you had Malcolm X, you had Rosa Parks. It all started with one. You had Jonah, you had Paul and Silas, you had Joshua. You can go from the biblical times to the modern day times, and there's always that one person that rose because they were able to defy the odds of humanity.
Wow. You said a lot in that statement, man, in that answer. And while you were talking, I'm like, I wonder if he feels like politics now, or doing it now, is a more sensitive time period for your brand or your style. Do you agree with that? Would you want to run in any other time period other than this one?
Probably not, because I don't know what would happen to me if I ran in another time period. But no, I believe this is the right time for my type of personality.
People are softer now, I feel.
Yeah, well, they're softer, but then there's two sides. There's the firebrand that don't care about your feelings, and then there's those who are soft that want everything to be about your feelings. And so somewhere there, you have to make a choice to be like, this is not about me. Anything that you do in life, whenever you make it about you, you will always fail. And that's the reason why we have so many people who are weak-kneed and jelly-backed, because it's all about them. So the moment you make everything about you, you're going to automatically fail. So when people come in and they expose, it's not that people are coming in to make you feel uncomfortable. It's just a mirror of who you already was. You just haven't been delivered. And so that's really what it is. You know, when you look at me or other people that come off so brash, you think it is really just the same way when I see people that I look up to that are role models or mentors to me, and the way they respond to me is the same way I respond to others. I can take it because I dish it. But I realize that there's something in me that had yet not been delivered, so I can be able to learn from that. And this is about learning. You know, we're students always.
Now you brought up feelings. I was gonna wait to ask you about your post, but it came through. I shared it, man, because I was like, yo, this is crazy. Because my wife and I, we talk about it a lot. You said facts. If I'm quoting it right, you said facts don't care about your feelings.
Correct.
So what made you, first off, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Facts don't care about your feelings. I mean, they're just facts. And facts are not presented to hurt your feelings.
Right.
They're presented just to state the facts.
Right.
First off, what sparked that post?
Well, there was a tweet that went out that said that I'm black, I'm running for Congress, you're not oppressed, you're lazy. So that is that is where it stemmed from. And the reason I stated that, and this is a great time to respond to that, because so many people took that as I'm targeting blacks. That was not a target on blacks. I'm black. I'm not targeting, I'm not talking down to blacks.
Right.
But what we have to realize is that there has been a lot of talk about how that the black community is oppressed. Somehow we're walking out of our house and we're not able to go stand in line to buy a cheeseburger as everybody else. That's really the narrative that is painted right now. And if you really want to accomplish something, such as you having to sit down with yourself and having this conversation, so as the others that are out there that are creating businesses and opportunities for themselves, that's not oppression. If you're able to get up and you're able to go to the Secretary of State and file an LLC for a business of some kind, that's not oppressed. If you're able to go out there and walk your dog down the same street that your neighbor walked the dog, that's not oppression. So oppression is something where it's like you are systemically as in that same routine of being enslaved of some kind. There's no way you can get away from it. There's no way that you have opportunity to do those things, and that's not true. And so I believe that somehow in society we have created this mindset, or society today has created this mindset that here we are, we're not able to overcome. And to me, that's not true. So that's why I said that these are facts. You know, if you were oppressed, you wouldn't even be typing to me on social media. So that's where I'm coming from like that. You know, you wouldn't have if you was that oppressed, you got phone bills, you know, you got all those things, you're on it, you're texting. And so that's where I am with that.
Do you remember when Kanye West said slavery is a choice? Do you remember when he said that?
No, I don't remember that. So
Kanye West was doing a TMZ interview, right? And this is when before he was on tour, and then he went on a rant while he was on tour, and then they put him in the hospital or whatever like that, said he had a mental breakdown or whatever like that, whatever, right? So he came out and he does this TMZ interview and he says that slavery is a choice. Okay, so when he said that, people just like, especially the black community, they killed him for that. Now, I understand where he was going with that. I don't know if the delivery and the way in the context that he said it in, that was probably kind of rough, right? Because he said slavery was a choice. The reason why I said that was because when you brought up oppression, right? When he said that slavery was a choice, I believe that he was like, listen, if slavery is that bad, if you feel this way about it, I mean, if you don't want to be enslaved, if death is the only option outside of that, then just fight it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't do it, right? So now, I don't know if that's what he meant by it. I'm just trying to say that maybe this is how he probably, went about it. But I just think maybe how he said it and the context in which he stated it, and then the platform he was on too when he said it.
Well, I sometimes you have to I drop a lot of information out there, and sometimes I read all the comments pretty much. So
You do?
Yeah, I do, and I don't respond to about 95% of them. And the reason why is because people need to think. And if this is a prime example of why our generation is kind of in the condition that is in, because perception and the way that you are, assume something
Right.
is everything based off of that. Like, for example, President Trump would sometimes hit a one-liner, and everybody would go nuts trying to figure out what did he mean, and he never explained what he meant. But you know what he did? He still kept his name out there because you out there trying to figure out Trump, and then everyone put their spin on what he said.
Yeah.
He said this, he said that, and so when you think about it, I'm pretty sure, and this is me speaking, that that he wasn't speaking about the slavery of the past, but the slavery of your mind,
Probably.
presently,
Right.
is your choice.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer held in chains.
Right.
And the only chains that is there is the chains that you have put on your own mind. Now
Yeah.
that's the perception I would have took from that. But
Yeah.
however, when people because we live in a triggered nation. Like everything is triggered. If you go out there and say something like what I put up there, you trigger somebody. And then I had like little black conservatives like, here he just insulted the whole entire black race. And I'm like, how did I insult you? Because all I said was I was black. And I said, you're not oppressed, you're lazy. You added the conclusion that I was talking about the black race. So who is really racist?
So is that something is that intentional for you to do what you just said, like them one-liners?
Yes. because you
Do you know the response is gonna get?
But I already know what people are going to respond. But think about that. You created your narrative of that, and then you want us to tell your story the way you want it to be told. But when I'm telling you my story, which is I'm black, I'm running for Congress, I'm not oppressed. If you're oppressed, it's because you're lazy. I didn't put any color in there other than I'm black. You created the story that I'm talking about black. Someone else created a story. This is what this person said. He's talking about us voters. I didn't say anything about voting.
Oh, wait, someone commented that.
Yeah. So I had people thought I was talking about voters being lazy. That was the first one. The second,
how did you get
the
that?
second one was that now I'm saying that the whole black race is lazy. Some guy didn't read oppressed, he read impressed, and was saying, you're not the first black person to run for Congress. I'm not, so don't say we should be impressed. I never used the word impressed. See what I'm saying? People create it because all they see in that glimpse is the story, what they want to get out of it. And sometimes I just sit back and just laugh because I realize that this is the reason why we're in the condition we are. You can't say anything without people taking it away. But it's good because it's healthy dialogue. Let them debate it out among each other, because then by that time I'm on to my next 2-3 posts.
So now, and people are going back and forth on your post.
Right.
Which is giving you the engagements that you need, which from a social media standpoint, that is brilliant. But because impressions, engagements, that all helps in the algorithm. So like, can a candidate do something? Can a candidate truly hurt their campaign? Because a lot of people, when Trump was running for office and the things that he was saying, his things that he was doing, people kept saying, oh, he's going to hurt his campaign and people aren't going to vote for him. And we talked about it before, but like Trump had a lot of supporters. So like, can a candidate really hurt their campaign?
I put it like this, and I like what someone had said. Some of these people that are complaining was the ones that were never going to vote for you anyway.
So you was going to win them no matter what you did.
Yeah, basically. Most of them wasn't going to vote for you. Most of the ones that are complaining don't even live here. So, the thing is that it's just that, complaints. No solution. What really tires me is the people that are the typers behind the screen, but you never see them walking down the streets helping to collect trash or to talk to homeless individuals or to go into the schools and mentors, but they have a whole lot to say behind the messaging on that. And so I don't personally feel like it's going, because this is what people need. I tell people, whether it's win or lose with the ultimate election, the thing is, am I going to sit back and not speak the truth because I'm concerned about the vote, or do I really want you to get the message? Because that's really where we should be as campaigns or candidates. Is that the thing is for me to present policy that is true.